Welcome to ZOR for Smarties. ZOR stands for Zones of Regulation, and it's a way to train your brain to use your upstairs brain when you need to think. We started out the first month of school looking at what's expected at school. Then after that, we talked about the emotions and the brain. This last month, we talked about figuring out how big your problem is so you could match up your reaction to the problem. And that brings us to today. Today we're going to the last section of ZOR, section 4.0, and we're going to talk about two things. First, let's talk about triggers. Make double thumbs up if you ever heard the word trigger before. If you have, what does it mean? What's the job of a trigger? If you said its job is to make something fire, you're right. Today we're talking for a minute about triggers that cause humans' emotions to fire or just to become stronger. Here's an example. Sometimes when a lot of people are talking at the same time, it triggers confusion in people's brains and even frustration. That's why your teacher expects just one person to talk at a time when you're talking with the whole class. Here's a trigger you might have seen at home. Stand up if you have a baby in your house, or if you've ever been around a baby. Wow, it looks like most of you have spent time around babies. Okay, sit back down. A baby crying and crying and crying can be a trigger. For a mom or dad, it can trigger an emotion of love, or it might even trigger the emotion of frustration if the baby's been crying a lot. For a sister or brother, this might be annoying, and it might trigger those kinds of emotions. Different people have different triggers for different things. See if you can notice today what kinds of triggers make strong emotions in your brain. If you can figure out your own triggers, then you can find your own power tools to make sure you keep calm and don't lose control. So that takes us to the most famous part of ZOR. Give it a drum roll. And it's the last part of this section. We finished talking about triggers. Now, let's talk for a minute about power tools. Then we'll look more closely at power tools next week. Power tools are tools that people can use to calm themselves down or to keep their emotions in their amygdala where they belong. The technical name for this is self-regulation. You've all seen people using power tools. Go back to that baby. Did you ever see a baby using a pacifier or sucking his thumb or her thumb? That's a tool the baby's using to calm down him or herself. Did you ever see a kid or an adult close their eyes for a minute and take a deep breath to calm themselves down? Those are two tools kids and adults use to calm themselves. All humans use tools, and the most powerful ones are called power tools. These are the strongest because they're invisible. They're inside a person's head or heart. A person who decides to use a power tool for self-control is the only one who can activate that tool. And sometimes a person needs to try new tools when the old ones don't seem useful. Here at VES, we have a lot of power tools that people can try. Many of them have actually been invented by kids at VES, and some of them are famous power tools. There are kids and adults all over the place at VES who use power tools every day. Here's the chart of VES tools. There are too many to describe today, but take a quick look, then we'll take a closer look the next 2 weeks. The most successful humans on the planet are the ones who figure out which power tools work best for them. Every single one of you has the power to do this. Grab it, VES.